Good day, my distinguished and esteemed viewers all over the world. This is Afe Ademola Johnson, your biology and chemistry tutor. Today, what I have for you is a topic in biology, which is reproduction. We'll be talking about more on reproductive system in human beings. Now, let's take a look at the definition of reproduction. When we're talking about reproduction, reproduction is the ability of an organism to produce young ones of its own kind. To produce, not to give birth. The word giving birth is not a general word. It is only specific to organisms that have vagina, that child can come out through the vagina. But organisms like plants don't have vagina and they also reproduce. So it is better to use the word they give rise than to say they give birth. And another thing to take note of here is that organisms produce young ones of their own kinds. A goat produces a goat. A dog produces a dog. A human being produces a human being. So that is the kind of their own kinds. So the major reason reproduction is important is that it makes an organism not to be endangered. That is, it preserves an organism and prevents the organism from going into extinction. So now, we have two major types of reproduction. We have sexual reproduction and we have asexual reproduction. What do we mean by asexual reproduction? Asexual reproduction is a type of reproduction in which an organism produces the young ones of its own kind without the union of male and female gamete. In this place, only one single parent is needed, unlike asexual reproduction in which two parents are involved. Now, what are the various types of asexual reproduction? We have spore formation, binary fission, fragmentation, budding, and vegetative propagation. In another topic we are going to deal with later in biology, we are going to do well much about asexual reproduction, but for today we will be talking more about sexual reproduction. Now, sexual reproduction is a type of reproduction in which an organism produces young ones of its own kind due to the union of male and female gametes, telling you that two parents will be involved in this place. And don't forget, there will be genetic recombination of the gene of the both parents, and the offspring will be totally different from either of the two parents and from one another. So that is sexual reproduction. In lower organisms, sexual reproduction is called conjugation, in which the gamete is formed when the cell content of the organism breaks down. Now, let's look on human reproductive system. You know the meaning of system. Like you have done levels of organization of life. We have cell, we have tissue, we have organ, we have system, we have complexity. And you know that the cell is the smallest unit of life. The tissue is a group of cells performing specific function. Then organ is a group of tissue performing a specific function. System is a group of organs performing similar functions. In this place, you know, we have about 10 types of system with an acronym Mr. Sardens L. M means muscular system. R means reproductive system that we are dealing with now. C means circulatory system. E means endocrine system. R means respiratory system. D means digestive system. E means excretory system. N means nervous system. S means skeletal system. L means lymphatic system. These are the systems you have in human being. But today we want to deal with reproductive system. Like you have been told, reproductive system is a group of organs which bring about sexual reproduction. And there are two types of reproductive system in human being. We have the male reproductive system and we have the female reproductive system. Now, talking about the male reproductive system, this one is a group of organs, group of tissues, group of cells which bring about the production and the release of male gametes, which we call semen containing sperms. Now, let's look on. Since we have said that a system comprises of many organs, the organs that constitute the male reproductive system in human beings are testes, epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, corpus gland, urethra, and the penis. But this prostate gland, corpus gland, urethra, they are around this. They are around the sperm ducts. They are around the sperm duct or the vas deferens. The seminal vesicle, prostate gland, corpus gland, they surround the sperm ducts. Now let's move on. All I have listed so far, they are found here. This is the testis. This is the epididymis. From the epididymis down this place to this place, this point, is the sperm ducts. Then from here to here is the urethra. So around the sperm ducts, you have the seminal vesicle, which is this. You have the corpus gland, which is this. And you have the prostate gland. You have the prostate gland. So the prostate gland is around here. So that is that. Now, let's go on and take this. So this is another view of the male reproductive system. This is the ventral view of male reproductive system. Now let's talk about the testes. Every male human being have two testes, the right and the left. Like you have seen here. This is one testis, this is another testis. Then the plural form is testis. T-E-S, 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 testis. But if it is T-E-S, T-I-S, testile, that's singular form, only one. This one testile, this another testile. The two of them make up testis. Now, these testis we are talking about, let's go back. Okay. In human being mammals, I've seen a question before. Before that, let me tell you that the function of the testis is to produce and release sperm. Then I've seen a question where they say, before that question, I may also tell you that the testes are located inside a sac. And the name of that sac is called scrotal sac. It's a sac. Then both the testes and the scrotal sac are collectively called what? Scrotum. They are collectively called scrotum. Now, that is that. Then I want to tell you, I've seen a question they will ask us, state one reason. The testes of mammals are located outside their body, unlike birds. If you have seen birds before, you see that the body is just flat, there is nothing like testes. But if you see cattle moving, you will see the testes dangling like what? Bear. Then, those testes are located outside. You can touch them. Why? The answer to this question is that the production of sperm that takes place in the testes occurs at a temperature lower than 37 degrees centigrade. And the normal body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade. So if the testis is allowed to be inside the body, sperm production will not take place. So it is outside to have its temperature cooled, to have its heat cooled so that the temperature is lower than that 37 degrees centigrade so that sperm production can be effective. Then in infant babies, the testes are not located in the scrotum but found at the upper region of the lower abdomen. But as the child continues to grow, the testes descend down until it finally reaches the scrotal sac. Now, the testes and the scrotal sac are collectively called scrotum, like I have told you. Then let us go and look at the internal part of the testis. The internal, when you cut the testis longitudinally to open and see what is happening, you will see that it consists of tiny tubules called seminiferous tubules. That is where sperms are produced. So if a question comes like this, which of the following parts of the male reproductive system produces sperm? And they say A, testis, B, seminiferous tubules, C, epididymis. What will you choose? Will you not choose testis? Testis will only score if seminiferous tubules is not there. So because inside the testis we have the seminiferous tubules. It is the seminiferous tubule that is performing that function actually. Look at these are the seminiferous tubules. The seminiferous tubules are surrounded by specialized cells called interstitial cells, which produce hormone testosterone. Now, these seminiferous tubules, they undergo meiosis and produce sperms. And these sperms produced by the seminiferous tubules, they are immature sperms, in the sense that they don't have flagellum that they can use to swim. And because they cannot swim, we say they are immotile. Immotile sperms means sperms that cannot move. They are then stored outside the testis, inside another organ around the testis called epididymis. So epididymis, as we are going to look at, is an extension of the testis. And inside the epididymis, you also have some coily tubules, which comes from the seminiferous tubules, and they are called vasa efferentials. Now, the function of the epididymis is to store immature sperms, which are called spermicide, temporarily until they become mature, after which they leave the epididymis and go to the sperm duct. So as the vasa efferentials in the epididymis straighten up, it forms the sperm duct. Don't forget that. Now let's go on. Now, this epididymis, I said that the epididymis is the extension of the seminiferous tubules outside each of the testes. It consists of tiny coils of tubules called vasa efferentials. And epididymis temporarily stores immature sperms. What are they? Produced by the seminiferous tubules. And these immature sperms are called spermatides. Spermatides are sperms without tail, and they are immotile. They cannot move. So this is the structure I've used to explain now. These are the seminiferous tubules. So when they go out, they form vasa efferentials, which occupy the epididymis. And the vasa efferentials straighten up again to form sperm ducts. Now, we'll be looking at sperm duct now, which is also known as vas deferens. The word duct in biology means a cylindrical passage in which a chemical substance can pass. But the name of the chemical substance determines the name of that duct. Like we have oviduct in female, where ovum will pass. Sperm duct, where sperm will pass. Bile duct in digestive system, where bile salt will pass to the duodenum. Pancreatic duct, where the juice produced by the pancreas move and enter inside what? duodenum. Back to reproduction. So the sperm duct lies in between the epididymis and the urethra. Let me show you the picture of what I'm talking about. This is the sperm duct. It lies. This is the epididymis. Between the epididymis down. This is the urethra to the urethra. So the function of the sperm duct is to allow sperm temporarily stored at the epididymis to swim towards the urethra. But I want to tell you here that the sperm duct is associated, surrounded with 3 organs. The first one is called the prostate gland, the seminal vesicle, sorry. Second one is prostate gland, and the third one is called corpus gland. Now, let's go back to what we are talking about here. Now, we have explained all this, said that we have said that the testes are sperm-producing organs of male reproductive system of human being, and there are 2 of them, and they are enclosed in the scrotal sac at the lower abdominal region of the male reproductive system. And I've also told you here that mammalian testes are located outside their body. Why? Unlike other classes of phylum Chordata, because the sperm production occurs at a temperature lower than the body temperature. So the testes of infant or boys, they are located at the upper region of the lower abdomen, not inside the scrotal sac. But as they grow, the testes descend down gradually until they occupy the scrotal sac. Then we have I said that the testes and the scrotal sac are collectively called scrotum. Now, the internal structure of the testes, like I told you, where sperm productions occur, is called the seminiferous tubus, which is a coily tube. Testes are called male gonads. Testes, they are called male gonads. When you come across the word tubu in biology, it means a tiny tube. Take note. A tiny tube that does not have the strength of straightening up. It has to coil up. Then this is epididymis. I've explained that it is the extension of the seminiferous tubus outside each of the testes. It consists of tiny coils of tubules, which are called vasa efferentias inside. Epididymis temporarily stores immature sperms, which are produced by seminiferous tubules. And these immature sperms are called spermatides. As a spermatide is a sperm that does not have a tail. Therefore, it cannot swim because it needs that tail to swim. Now, this is the diagram I've shown you earlier. Seminiferous tubules, interstitial cells, vasa efferentias in epididymis, straightening up to form sperm ducts. Then we are moving on to the vas deferens, like I told you, cylindrical muscular organ that conducts sperm from the epididymis to the urethra in the penis. And we said around it there are 3 associated organs, which are seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and corpus gland. And let me tell you one thing here. The seminal vesicle, the prostate gland, and the corpus gland produce a watery juice called seminal fluid. So the combination of the seminal fluid and sperm forms what we call semen. Nobody has ever seen sperm. What you are seeing is semen, which is the combination of sperms and seminal fluids. But these seminal fluids have different functions they perform. And apart from the production of seminal fluid, another function of the seminal vesicle is that it also temporarily stores mature sperm. Sperm coming from the epididymis after it has grown flagellum before moving to the urethra. Now, like I said, I've told you, now this seminal fluid coming from a seminal vesicle activates the sperm for fast swimming. It is slippery. It reduces friction, makes the sperm to swim faster. The one, the seminal fluid from prostate gland, provides glucose and fructose that the sperm uses to carry out cellular respiration. You can try and watch out for our videos where we have talked about cellular respiration to release energy needed for the sperm to swim. Then we have the seminal fluid. Now, the seminal fluid from the corpus gland releases a seminal fluid that is alkalinic, and the function of that alkaline is to neutralize the acidity of the egg of the female. The egg of the female has acid. So the malfunction of all this can make a woman married to a man not to be fruitful. And we keep blaming the women in Africa. It might be the fault of the man. For example, if a man you can say a man has a low sperm count. If the seminal fluid from the seminal vesicle, it does not activate the sperm and the sperm are sluggish. At the time of ejaculation, you only have little number of sperm. So, and that cannot produce a child. So what about when the seminal fluid from the prostate gland is faulty? The sperms are not active, they don't have energy to swim. Then that kind of sperm cannot fertilize the egg. Then the woman remains barren as long as she's married to that man. Then if the corpus gland of a man is bad, by the time the sperm swims towards the egg, the acid produced by the egg will kill the sperm. Until that woman marries another man, she can't give birth. And it's one of the methods of family planning, we call it vasectomy, is to remove the corpus gland surgically so that the acidity of the egg will continue to kill the sperm and the couple will not produce children according to their will. Now, we have the urethra. The urethra is a cylindrical muscular tube that runs through the penis. It conducts semen from the sperm duct. It also conducts urine from the urinary bladder out of the penis, but not simultaneously. Sperm and urine cannot mix together. If ejaculation is about to take place, urine will stop. There is a valve that will stop the urine from coming down. And if urine is coming out, the sperm cannot come out. They cannot mix. But because the urethra of the male reproductive system conducts both sperm and urine, it is said to be urinogenital. Genital means reproduction. Urino, conduction of urine. So one of the differences between male reproductive system and female reproductive system in human is that the urethra in male reproductive system is urinogenital and that of female is not urinogenital. Now we have the penis. The human penis is a urinogenital organ. Now, the most sensitive part of the penis is the glans penis, which is the cap. And this glans penis is in a newborn child is protected by a foreskin, which is called prepuce. And due to due to religious belief and hygienic belief, this prepuce is surgically removed by a process called circumcision, usually after 8 days of the child birth. So take note of that. Now, then, in the internal part of the penis consists of some specialized muscles called erectile muscles that have holes, they are pipes, they are elastic. So when a male is sexually stimulated, there is one hormone called adrenaline that will be secreted. This adrenaline will make the blood vessels to become constricted, to become narrow, so that, just take a look at, if you are working a car wash and the pipe that delivers water, hold it at the middle and press it, you will discover that water will be splashing faster at the end. That is what is happening here. The blood vessels will be made to be constricted and blood will start moving, and fast flowing blood will rush into the erectile muscle of the penis and make the penis to become turgid. Now, so take note of that. Yes. Then, the whole of what we are talking about here let's look at the picture that explains that. Let's look at the picture. Yes. Look at this. This is the penis. This is the urethra. This is the glans penis. This is the prepuce. Now, you will see here, this is the urethra. What is the urinogenital? The urethra is joined to the urinary bladder. This is the urinary bladder that stores your urine. Now, and it is also joined to the sperm ducts. So that is why it is urinogenital. So that is that. Now, this is the testis, scrotal sac, collectively called scrotum, epididymis around here. Okay? Okay, look at the erectile muscles. When you open the penis open, these are the erectile muscles. These are blood vessels, erectile muscles. So fast flowing blood fill the erectile muscles, make it turgid, then the penis is what? Turgid. Now let's move on to talk about the sperm. The sperm. Let's talk about the sperm. The sperm. I've written notes about this, talked about this one. Now, a human sperm is the male gamete. So, the release of semen, which contains sperm from the penis to the vagina during mating, is called what? Ejaculation. And the extreme, very sensitive, satisfactory end of ejaculation during coitus is called orgasm. So, now, if you need more explanation on that, you can put in the comment section, then I will explain further. A mature sperm has three parts: the head, the middle piece, and the tail. Look at the picture. This is the head, this is the middle piece, and this is the tail. Now, the head at the center has a nucleus that contains the gene and chromosomes, and the gene contains the unit of heredity, what one used to resemble the parent. They are located in the gene, inside the nucleus. Then at the tip of the head, we have what we call acrosome. That acrosome releases an hydrolytic enzyme or autolytic enzyme, whose function is to dissolve the outer coat of the female gamete, egg, so that the sperm can penetrate the egg and fertilize the egg. Take note of that. That is the function of the fluid produced by the acrosome. Now, the middle piece, you have mitochondrion, the plural of which is mitochondria. We call it the cell powerhouse. It is inside that the glucose, the fructose, contained by the seminal fluid of the prostate gland, carry out cellular respiration to bring about production of energy required for the sperm to swim. Then the flagellum is a white-like structure like cane that the sperm uses to swim. Without the sperm, without the flagellum, the sperm is called spermatide. It is immotile, it cannot move. Take note of that. Now, so like I said here, the tip of the head of this human sperm is a tube called acrosome. I said acrosome secretes hydrolytic enzyme to dissolve the female egg outer coat, so as for the sperm to penetrate and fertilize the female egg. Then the sperm's egg also contains nucleus, with which it fuses with the female's egg nucleus during fertilization. Then the gene of both parents will be mixed together in the zygote formed. And that is why the child is neither exactly like the father nor exactly like the mother. Then the middle piece, like I said, has a number of mitochondria. singular of which is mitochondrion, with which aerobic cellular respiration occurs. Then sperm's tail end in tail, and they are both needed for swimming. I told you that the tails are needed for swimming by the what? That's the sperm's tail end. We have tail end in tail end, and we have the flagellum. They are used for what? For swimming. Now, at the end of what I've said so far, you should be able to define reproduction. You should be able to state and define the two types of reproduction. You should be able to mention 8 organs of the male reproductive system. You should be able to draw a well-labeled diagram, 8 cm to 12 cm long, of the human male reproductive system. You should be able to draw and label the human sperm. You should be able to state one reason the mammalian testes are located outside their body. Please take note of all these questions. You should be able to write short notes on the testes, the scrotum, the scrotal sac, the epididymis. You should be able to write short notes on the vas deferens, the penis. You should be able to name the 3 associated organs around the sperm duct and explain their reproductive function in male human reproductive system. Now we go to female reproductive system. The female reproductive system is a group of organs, tissues, and cells that bring about egg formation, fertilization, implantation, gestation, and parturition. So all these are what we are going to talk about later in another video. Now, what are the various organs that come together to form the female reproductive system? You have the ovaries, you have the fallopian foramen, you have the fallopian tube, which is also known as oviduct, you have the uterus, which is also known as the womb, you have the cervix, you have the vagina, you have the vulva, you have the egg or the ovum, the plural of which is called ova. Now let's go on. Now, this is the female reproductive system diagram. This is the outer part of it, which is called the vulva. This is the vagina inside. This is the cervix. This is the womb or uterus. This is oviduct. This is fallopian foramen, while this is the ovary. Now let's look at it in a reality. Now, this is the external part of the female reproductive system. Now, this is what we call vaginal orifice. So during sexual intercourse, the penis enters the vaginal orifice. And during childbirth, the head of the child comes out through the vaginal orifice. Now, the vaginal orifice is surrounded with 2 folds of skin. The inner part is called labia minora, while the outer part is called labia majora. Then also another thing you can find at the outer part is, we call it the urethral orifice. The urethral orifice, through which urine comes out. So the vaginal orifice, urine does not come out from there. It comes out from the urethra. So the urethra does not perform the function of, it's not urinogenital like in male. It only conducts urine, it doesn't conduct egg. So then we have something called clitoris, like the penis in male. It's a small penis-like structure. The only difference is that it doesn't have urethra, but it has erectile muscles that receive fast-flowing blood that makes it becomes erected, turgid, when the female is sexually stimulated. This is the internal environment. Now, this is the womb, the uterus, the wall of the womb. This is the womb. This is the cervix. And this cervix, there is an opening here. This is the vagina. So the vagina is considered as long as it is to this area. Very long, about 10 centimeters in length. Now, I was talking about, look at the ovary, look at the oviduct, look at the fallopian foramen. Now, this is the urinary bladder. that temporarily stores urine. Then the urine comes down here and exposes to the vulva here. So you can see that the urethra here that end up in the orifice of urethra is not urinogenital. It only conducts urine in female. It does not conduct egg production. This is the summary. This is the urinary bladder, the vulva, the vagina, the womb or the uterus, the oviduct or the fallopian funnel, fallopian tube, then the fallopian funnel, which is also known as infundibulum in birds. Now the ovaries. A female has two ovaries, right and the left ovary. That of bird, one of them have been reduced. Is we call it vestigial organ in biology. So now, each of these ovaries contains about 500,000 eggs, not 500,000 eggs. But only one of them becomes mature at each menstrual cycle that we are going to talk about later. So take note of that. The ovary is called the female gonad, and a normal human being has two ovaries. So take note of that. Now, the fallopian funnel, like you have seen, is a funnel shape, like the name implies. In birds, it's called infundibulum. It exposed to the ovary, and it has some things like air called cilia that dances ciliarily to receive the released egg and pushes it to the what? To the oviduct. And the release of egg from the ovary to the oviduct is called ovulation. We are going to look at that later. So the function of the fallopian funnel is to do what? Is to receive the egg and push it to the oviduct. Then the oviduct is a cylindrical pipeline that connects the fallopian funnel to the womb. So the function of it is that a fertilization of egg by the sperm take place in the oviduct. So you can see that in this picture. In this picture now, you will see here the egg is released from ovary, passes through the fallopian funnel to the oviduct and stays here. The sperm deposited here will swim here and come here to fertilize the egg. Their meeting point is what? The oviduct. So take note of that. That is the oviduct. Now, another name for the oviduct is what? Fallopian tube. Yeah, the next one is the womb or the uterus. The womb or the uterus is a pear-shaped organ that lies in between the oviduct and the cervix. It's like a pear. Now, the function of the womb is that implantation, which means attachment of the embryo, occurs at the womb. So when fertilization takes place at the oviduct, then the foetus is formed. The foetus later develops into embryo, and the embryo slides down. It forms morula, forms gastrula, cleavage occurs, and when it gets there, it becomes surrounded. It forms foetus, which comprises of amnion, chorion, and allantois. We are going to discuss that in another videos. Then it becomes attached to the wall of the uterus. But let me tell you one thing. For the womb to be prepared for implantation, there is one lining of the uterus, we call it extrauterine endometrium. This extrauterine endometrium must be thickened if an implantation must take place there. Some women are barren, so-called, they are not fruitful because there is an hormone called progesterone that is under-secreted in them. This hormone is what prepares the lining of the uterus to make the extrauterine endometrium to become thickened. So if there is under-secretion of progesterone, then the wall of the uterus will not be thickened and implantation will not take place. One of the methods of family planning is by taking contraceptive pills. Some of the contraceptive pills contains progesterone. They hinder progesterone production, and they will not make the extrauterine endometrium to do what? To be thickened, and child will not be conceived. No implantation will take place there. Now, the cervix. The word cervix is a Greek word which means neck. No wonder the bone of the neck are called cervical vertebra. The cervix is the neck of the womb. It's a ring of muscle that can expand and close. During pregnancy, it remains closed. During childbearing, it opens to allow the head or the foot or the baby to pass. That's the cervix. In a virgin, the cervix is protected by a delicate muscular sheath called hymen. And this hymen can be broken in two ways. One, first sexual intercourse that the virgin will have. The forceful action of the penis can break the hymen, and there will be release of blood because the hymen is richly supplied with blood capillaries. Then, another activity that can break the hymen is vigorous exercise. If a child, a female child, a virgin child loves doing activities, as you open your laps all the time, then raise up your body, then the hymen tears up, then blood comes out. Some of you are confusing it to be menstruation. It's not menstruation, it's not that the lady has been disflowered. But this hymen cannot be totally removed until after the first childbirth. So as the head of the first child is coming, it removes all the hymen. Now, the vagina. The vagina, like I told you, is a canal that lies in between the cervix and the vulva. It receives sperms or semen after ejaculation has taken place. So that is its own function. Now, the vulva, like I told you, is a collective name for all the things outside the female reproductive system, and it comprises of the two fold of skin, the bigger one that is called labia majora, and the smaller one inside, which is called labia minora. Then you have the clitoris, that is like the penis-like structure that has erectile muscles, that when it is filled with fast flowing blood becomes erected as the female becomes sexually stimulated. Don't forget that, I've explained that. Then we have the labia majora, labia minora, which is the labia majora is the outermost fold of skin in the vulva, while the labia minora is the innermost fold of skin in the vulva. Now, we have the clitoris, like I said, is a penis-like small and the most sensitive part of the vulva. Like the penis, the clitoris is also filled up with erectile muscles, which, when becomes filled up with fast-flowing blood stream from the heart, what happens to it? It makes it, the clitoris becomes what? Turgid. Then the clitoris becomes turgid when the female human being is what? Sexually stimulated. There is one culture that the government is trying to fight against now. We call it female genital mutilation, in which they call female circumcision. What they do is to cut the clitoris. When they cut the clitoris, the female cannot enjoy sexual intercourse again, because what makes her to enjoy this intercourse has been cut off. So, and this has caused a lot of chaos in marriages, and because of this, the government is trying to stop it, and it can arrest anybody that carries out that activity. Now, this is the diagram of the female reproductive system. There's a question here, JAM, UTME 2012. This is the part labeled IV, which is the uterus, the womb. The cervix, sorry. The part labeled T is the ovary. The part labeled 2 is the uterus, the womb. While the part labeled 1 is the what? The ovidot or fallopian tube. Let's see the question they are asking now. The developing embryo is usually contained in the part labeled dash. That is IV, the womb. That is the womb. The womb. Not IV, the womb. Then let's look at the second question. The function of the part labeled III is to do what? III. What is III? What is its function? III, that is the ovary. That is to release egg, to produce egg, and to release egg. Let's go back there. Now, look at the question. The question is saying that what? The function of the part labeled III is to do what? A, produce egg cells. That's the answer. That's the ovary. It's not to protect sperm during fertilization, no. It's not to secrete hormones during coitus, no. It's not to protect the development embryo, no. Now we are moving. Another question White has ever asked is, make a well-labeled diagram, 10 cm to 12 cm long, of the female reproductive system in human beings. Now, if you want to draw, take note, there are some guidelines. You don't have to know how to draw very well before you score marks. Drawing has ever been a bonus to biology students. What are the things we mark? CL, which means clarity of lines. TL, which means title. You can actually get your title from the drawing, from the question. What did they say should be? Forget about this make a well label. Forget. Start from here. Diagram of female reproductive system in human beings. That's your title. So, you know, your title, they will just write female reproductive system. They will not, if you don't put that diagram, what you are telling the examiner is that you have killed somebody and you have removed the female reproductive system and you have attached it to the booklet. But that is not what they ask you. They want the they don't want the real organ, they want the diagram of that organ. So that is why the title without diagram or drawing is not a good title. Take note of that. Then 10 cm to 12 cm, they are telling you that when you want to draw, look at the diagram. Let's look at the diagram. This is the diagram now that you have drawn. From here to this place, if you take your ruler there, you mark 0 cm on your ruler, and mark 8 and mark 10. So that when you are drawing, from that 0, you are conscious. When you get to around 8, you are more conscious. From that 0 and 8 exactly, we score for size. From that 0 to 8.5, 9 point something, we score. Even to 10 cm. But at a distance between the 0 and 7 point something, we not score. From that 0 to 10.1, we not score. So the minimum size is 8 cm, while the maximum size is 12 cm. That is what they are telling you there. If you need more explanation, you can put it in the comment section. You can put a call across to me, 070 30 39 35 31. I will respond to your call. You can chat me on WhatsApp, then we'll talk more. Now, another thing to take note is that we call it CL, clarity of lines. There are two things we mark under clarity of lines. Not broken and not woolly. Not broken, not woolly. The not broken, nobody has ever gotten it. Nobody will get it. It means that when you start drawing, you must not stop. Because when you stop, it has broken. If you want to continue, there will be a dot. Your biro will rest, or your pencil will rest, and there will be a heavy dot on that place. It has been broken. So nobody can score that one. But not woolly means that when you are drawing, don't draw artistically. Don't shade. When you shade and two lines are aligned together, it means it will be marked against you. Then another one is NL, which will mean neatness of labeling. Two things are also marked here. The first one is what? Horizontal labeling. And the second one is what? Rule guideline. Rule guideline means that any labeling you want to label, you must use ruler to rule them out. It must be straight. It must be straight. It can be left or right. Doesn't matter. Some people will misstitch you. They will tell you that all of them, your labeling must be on one side. No. White rule does not say that. We have been marking for many years. So it can be left or the right, but it can be down and up. If you have to draw a vertical line, taking something from, maybe there are no spaces here. When you take it down, then you must bend it either left or you bend it right with your ruler. That is rule guideline. And all your labelings must be horizontal. Horizontal. It's not that you will draw a line like this and you start writing down like this. No, that's vertical labeling. It will be marked against you. So that is that. Then the next thing we mark is labeling. How many labels? Usually about 5 to 6 labels is okay. So these are the major things we So there are other informations. So if you need further information, you can put in the comment section, then I will answer you appropriately. So now, then state one role of the following organs in reproduction. Uterus, what is the role? Implantation of embryo. Oviduct, the site of fertilization. Ovary, the release of egg. You are asked to mention one alternative name for oviduct. Oviduct is fallopian tube. For uterus, uterus is what? Womb. Take note of that. Then we have come to the end of these lectures. In the next class, we will be looking at human developmental phases. So I hope you enjoyed the class. If there's any question or any way you want me to improve, you can put in the comment section and I will attend to them appropriately. I remain my humble self, Afe Ademola Johnson. Do have a fruitful day. God bless you. Please do something for me. Click the subscription button and share my videos. So when you subscribe, every other videos I'll be posting, you will be having access to them. I will see you next time in the next video. God bless you and bye for now. Thank you.